And we're back talking about the ongoing war in Ukraine. Olesya, before the break, you were telling us this interesting story about how cats are helping the Ukrainian people and Ukrainian soldiers. Specifically, that some cats that these soldiers have befriended have picked up on the rhythm of the Russian military's firing and how they can tell how often they're firing before they stop and reload. And that's the time when the cats can come out of the bunker and go to the next area and know that they'll be safe because the Russians are busy reloading. Is that a common thing that's happening in Ukraine, where the animals are somehow helping the Ukrainian forces, or is it just kind of a one-off from what you understand?
No, you will be surprised like by what the guys keep ducks, one of the units, and not for anything, just ducks. And they made them a little pond that they take care of ducks. Yeah, out of ever, like they just, and then there is a unit that has a couple of dogs and like all kind of things, and it's interesting because the animals are very much affected, and some of the wildlife, because the shelling is happening in the in the forest and whatnot. Some of the wounded wildlife comes to our units, and the guys take care of them, and then nurture them back to health. And some of the wildlife stays. So I mentioned you the wolf. So, and it's not a one-off. It's just basic kindness, I guess, right? Because people there, your heart breaks open there because you're always on the edge of between life and death, right? So, yeah.
Well, having those animals around probably also helps the soldiers too. But it's really unfortunate because during war there's not too many heartwarming stories. But that certainly is one of them, that these animals have been able to help out the Ukrainian soldiers, but the Ukrainian people too, and at the same time the soldiers have been able to help the injured animals. I want to ask you about Nazar's story, because I saw you posted it on LinkedIn, and it was hard to hold back tears. Could you tell us about little Nazar and what his story?
He's interviewing him in this little village where the first village that has kids. He has been there. His parents have a set of very elderly grandparents that are bedridden. They live off their garden, their plot of land. So they don't have any other income. They are farmers. And with two bedridden grandparents, they cannot leave. So Nazar stays where it's really, really dangerous. He lives on the same street where the unit that I work with is situated. So basically on the front line in the combat zone. And he's 7 now. He just turned 7. And we formed my youngest is 6.5. So, when I'm there, like I see him, like I see my child in him, and we formed a very warm bond. But what is very special about Nazar, that he says, I don't remember time when there was no war. He was 4. So, and all this traumatic experience for sure erases anything that you remember before that, your peaceful childhood in Ukraine. And he said to his mom, they have this little tiny orchard with apples. He told Mom, if I die, please bury me under the apple tree, because there are ghosts in the cemetery. So this child is already thinking, and I want to be close to you, Mama, so bury me under the apple tree. I don't know how Mama can, I don't know, I cannot hold tears back. Imagine your child telling you this and thinking that, and it can happen anytime. This village is shelled all the time. And there's little Nazar and little Zariana, and just count them. There are 349 kids there. So it's really brutal.
You were a very bright light in his. You were a bright light in his life, though. You brought him a present, right? Could you tell us about that?
We brought him a notebook. Actually, I posted on LinkedIn, and some kind people thought, what does he need? And he wanted to go to school, and he didn't have a good computer enough to go to school. So it was the New Year's Eve. He didn't know that we're going to be there. We just, knocked on the door, and he opened the door, and his eyes, oh my God, he didn't believe that what he's seeing. And I asked him, what do you know what it is? And he's like, I'm going to go to school. And this was really, we had a couple of military guys with us, that came to see his reaction. And these huge, big dudes were all crying, standing there and dropping tears. So you mentioned that there are not many heartwarming stories during the war. Actually, there are so many. There is, and this, I guess, what it keeps our people going is that you can there you'll always find something that is worth fighting for. And these are all the stories of human kindness and humanity, right?
For sure. Well, it's wonderful that you've been able to touch little Nazar's life in such a wonderful way. We'll be back with more in just a moment.